word. But yeah, so without further ado, this is called Knot, K-N-O-T. A heavy knot weighs down in my chest, and it can't be loosened and it can't be untied. It was skillfully crafted by the hands of many Filipino men, passing it down as a family heirloom before they died. My father wove his string into it, as did his father before him, and his father before him, and now this weight in my chest is my birthrighted inheritance. But I'm the first one to be born foreign. I'm a Filipino American. Spell that with a hyphen that is 8,500 miles long. And having to face the realities of two clashing mentalities makes it hard to decipher right from wrong. Because you see, growing up, grade school was a breeze, all A's with not even a single B on my way to getting my degree, but it was my homeschooling that brought me to my knees, praying for mercy. It was my homeschooling that taught me that there is something in the water of those islands, of those 7,000 islands that make these men fall silent because they don't talk about the knots in their chest without getting violent. This same water distilled in every sand mig, because why emotionally try and dig if you can just take swig after swig in between puffing pain out the butt of a cig? And that was the kind of communication imported to us from another nation. But as Filipinos are a special variation of being Asian because we have our own unique set of complications. After all, whereas Asian as European, we have the whole spectrum of religions to believe in, but our region is mostly made up of God-fearing individuals whose English is mainly biblical, which makes this language barrier so formidable. So I understand why us Phil-Ams become so cynical when our parents force us into clinicals or any other field that they deem profitable. So please, listen close to every word and to every syllable when I say that this hole in my heart, both metaphorical and literal, is simply unfillable because no matter how hard I try, Dad, we're just not relatable. That's why I love hearing about your past and learning what makes you laugh. So while trying to be you and find me, my heart feels torn in half, even though I know that all you want from me is to have what you couldn't have. You gave up your entire life to be here, left your home with nothing but a suitcase and fear, yet the only time I saw your eyes bear a tear was when Lolo passed on. Because he was there and you were here. You were here, giving the American dream a try, just so you can put food on my plate and turning out the lights, working the full-time job of teaching your boys wrong from right, all while I struggle with the fact that I am the reason you don't sleep so you can work day and night. I love being your son, but I can't be you. And I know your love for me is true, but when I have no clue as what to do in my life, the last thing I need is a heart that is black and blue. So when I raise your grandkids, I'm gonna love them with all of my being. I'm gonna patch them up when they are bleeding and say I love you after I'm done with their nighttime readings. And when I'm old and my life is fleeting from a heart that stopped beating, they will remember me by seeing the truth behind the lies that the toxic parts of this culture's masculinity was feeding, and that life's lessons do not have to be learned at the end of an emotional or a physical beating. And I love you, Dad, but I won't be you. And eventually, I hope my children tell me the same thing too. Thank you.